Anybody can
Yes,
respond?
sir, I can. Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So today the topic is dummy. Right? So first I will explain the function of dummy and the concept of dummy. The literal meaning of dummy is to remind. So dictionary meaning or the meaning of dummy is to remind. In SAP, using this dunning program, we can configure the system to generate the reminders to be sent to customers. We can use this dunning program to generate the reminders to be sent to vendors also when their accounts are showing debit balances. So why do we send the reminders to the customers? Right? See, we have the number of customers, right? And for different customers, we give different payment terms. So according to payment terms, we have to receive the payments. But sometimes some customers may delay the payment. In that case, we have to send the reminders. Say, for example, one customer is there. So for him, we have given 30 days credit. So today is the 30th day. So actually, we have to receive the payment from the customer today. But we have not received the payment today. And after today, we have to wait a minimum 2 days because the customer might have taken the demand draft and he might have sent it to courier, right? So courier might have been delayed, right? That's why after the due date also, minimum to minimum, we have to wait for 2 days. Okay, we have waited 2 days. Even then, we did not receive the payment. In that case, we will send a reminder to the customer. In the reminder, we say, respected sir, these are the invoices that have become due, and we have not yet received the payment. So please make sure that the payment is done. And if you have paid the amount already, please ignore this letter. That's how we write the content in the first reminder. Okay, we have sent the first reminder. And even we have not yet received the payment, we have to wait minimum 1 week because our letter, if the customer has not yet paid the amount, our letter has to reach him. And we are sending the letter to courier. So it may take 2-3 days for the letter to reach the customer to courier. And after receiving the letter, the customer has to arrange the funds. He has to purchase the DD from the bank and he has to send the demand of to us to courier again. So again, from the customer side, the courier may take 2-3 days. So like that, 2-3 days from our side, 2-3 days from the customer side, right? So it may take 1 week. That's why after sending the first reminder, we have to wait a minimum 1 week. Yes, we have waited 1 week. Even then, we did not receive the payment. In that case, we will send second reminder. Again, the second reminder, we want to increase the seriousness of the content of the second reminder. Like what? Already 9 days are over. This is against our policy to wait this many number of days after the due date for the payment. So please make the payment immediately. That's how we will increase the seriousness of the content of the second reminder. Even after sending the second reminder, we have not yet received the payment, even after waiting 1 week. So even if you don't receive the payment, right, we have to wait minimum 1 week after sending the second reminder. Even then, we did not receive the payment. Then we will send the third reminder. Again, the third reminder, we will increase the seriousness. Like we have given you 2 reminders, but there is no response from you. So if you don't make the payment within short period, or if you don't make the payment immediately, we are going to impose interest on the amount due from the original date. So in order to avoid interest burden, please make the payment immediately. This is how we want to increase the seriousness of the content of the third reminder. Okay, we have sent the third reminder. Even then, we did not receive the payment. Then we will send fourth reminder or final reminder, you can say. In the final reminder, we will say that we have given you a number of reminders, but there is no response from you. That's why we are going to file a legal suit against you in the court of law, for which you have to pay incidental charges for the case and all the legal charges. You have to pay interest, everything you have to pay. If you want to escape from this, please make the payment. That's how we want to increase the seriousness of the content of the fourth reminder. Okay, we have sent the fourth reminder. Even then, the customer did not make the payment. In that case, right, we hand over this case to the customer, to the credit record department. We means the accounts department. The accounts department will hand over the customer to the credit record department. From now onwards, it is the job of the credit record department to see how to get the payment. But before handing over the customer to the credit record department, the accounts department wants to send the 4 reminders, each reminder with a different type of content. So the same thing can be configured with the help of the Dunning program. So if you have the 500 customers, right, in that case, different customers may become overdue on different due dates. In that case, you cannot identify them manually. So with the help of the Dunning program, the system will identify the customers who have become overdue. And for those customers, the system will identify only those invoices which have become overdue. And according to configuration, they will print the different type of reminders. So normally we use this Dunning program, right, to send the reminders to customers. But sometimes we can use this Dunning program to send the reminders to vendors also, provided vendor account shows debit balance. Normally, vendor account always shows credit balance. That means we have to pay. But when the vendor account shows debit balance, what does it mean? We have to receive, right? So whenever the vendor account shows debit balances, we can use the Dunning program to generate the reminders to be sent to vendors. So what are the scenario in which vendor account shows debit balance? Sometimes you have made some excess payment, right? Of course, if you make the payment to vendors through automatic payment program, excess payments are not made. When you make the payments to vendors manually only, there are chances that there may be excess payments. Or sometimes, as on today, right, in the vendor account, the balance is 0. We need not pay anything to the vendor. But today, we have returned some goods to the vendor to the tune of 1 lakh. According to the return policy of the vendor, the returned goods are to be replaced in 15 days. You have waited 20 days, but vendor is not replacing the goods. In that case, right, we can send the reminders. Clear, no? Now, let us assume our company code is in USA, right? So we have some dealers in Washington and we have some dealers in New York. These are nothing but your customer account groups, for example. Washington dealers and New York dealers, right? In that case, number of Dunning levels. Number of Dunning levels means number of reminders to be sent. I want to send 4 reminders to every delay in Washington dealer, but I want to send only 3 reminders to the delay in New York dealer. Then Dunning interval. Dunning interval means how many number of days you want to wait between 2 letters. I want to wait 7 days in the case of Washington dealers, but I want to wait 10 days in the case of New York dealers. Then line item grace periods. Before sending the first reminder, how many number of days you want to wait for each invoice? I want to wait 2 days in the case of Washington dealer, and I want to wait 3 days in the case of New York dealer. Then Dunning charges. Dunning charges means we have to send the reminder to courier, and we are using the time of the employee to print the letter, right? Then if you take the printout of the letter, we use the printer, right? The more you use the printer, the more is the depreciation. So all these are expenses to me. I mean, all these expenses to the company. So why should they bear all these expenses? Because customer has delayed. That's why the company thinks that it is very logical to recover the charges from the customer. So we can impose the Dunning charges. Dunning charges is $2 in the case of Washington dealer, but it is $2.5 in the case of New York dealer, right? Then minimum amounts. Minimum amounts means if the balance in the account is equal to or less than this, is equal to or more than this. I'm sorry, because of the sounds, I'm getting a little bit disturbance. Minimum amount means, right, the balance in the account should be equal to minimum amount or more than minimum amount. Then only the system will print the letter. Suppose in a customer account, there is $5 due to some reason, right? in that case, it is not feasible to send the reminder because sending one reminder costs you $2. If you send 4 reminders, it will cost you $8. So to recover $5, you are spending $8. Is it wise? No. That's why I don't want to send the reminders in this case. That means we can set up the minimum amounts. Okay. So here, Washington dealers and New York dealers, these are called dunning areas, right? And all these parameters together is called dunning procedure. Dunning procedure, right? So dunning area means what? From the entry point of view, it is the organization unit within the company code for which the dunning is to be conducted. We can send the separate dunning notices, that is reminders, and we can use the separate dunning procedure for each dunning area. And the definition of dunning area is optional. Means here we can send separate notices for each of the customers of the dunning area. And we can use different content for each of the dunning area customers. So how do we decide how many number of dunning areas we have to create? For that, there is no any predefined principle. See, we can design the dunning areas on the basis of one or more of the following criteria. Number 1, sales organization. Number 2, distribution channel. Number 3, division. Number 4, business area. Here, sales organization, distribution channel, and division. These are the organization units in SD module. So we will discuss these things in the SD at the time of SD integration. But for the time being, to make you understand the concept of dunning areas, I will explain you briefly. Sales organization, nothing but sales department. Say, for example, we are selling the goods within the country, domestic sales, and we are exporting the goods. So in order to look after the domestic sales, we have set up a separate sales department, that is local sales department or domestic sales department, that is called one sales organization. Then in order to look after the export sales, right? In order to look after the export sales, we have set up another sales department, that is called another dunning area. So each sales department can be created as one dunning area. That means for all the local customers, I want to use this dunning procedure. Then for the export customers, I want to use this dunning procedure. Means dunning area wise, we can use separate procedures. Then distribution channel. Distribution channels means dealers, distributors, retailers, wholesalers, etc. They are called distribution channel. So in this case, we have taken the dealers as the criteria. Washington dealers, one dunning area. New York dealers, one dunning area. Right? California dealers, one dunning area. New Jersey dealers, one dunning area. Like that, right? We can use the distribution channel to design the dunning areas. Then division. Division means product. So you are selling 2 products. Product number 1, product number 2. They are called divisions. So all the customers of product number 1 can be taken as one dunning area, and all the customers of product number 2 can be taken as another dunning area. Business area means all the customers of Hyderabad business area, one dunning area, and all the customers of Mumbai business area, another dunning area. Like that, right? We can use any of these criteria to design our dunning areas. Then, dunning procedure. It is a combination of the parameters which will describe how the dunning is to be conducted. In each dunning procedure, we define the number of dunning levels, dunning frequency, line item grace periods, and dunning charges, minimum amounts for dunning and dunning text. So every customer master record should be assigned with one dunning procedure. So we can define any number of dunning procedures based on client requirements. See, simply saying all these parameters together is called dunning procedure. So it is compulsory that if we should assign the dunning procedure in the customer master account. Otherwise, even though there are overdue invoices in the customer account, system will not send that customer into dunning area, into dunning function, right? Now we will see the configuration. Definition of dunning areas, OB 61. Click on new items. See, at the time of configuring for dunning, right, the system will be going on giving number of warning messages. So whatever the warning messages you get, just ignore it. Company code is equal to SSKV. Dunning area is equal to KV, just like that. Text is equal to dunning area for SSKV for AP dealers. For AP dealers. Click on sensor. See, it is giving one warning message. Dunning notices are not defined for the company code SSKV. Just ignore it. Write down the table name P047M. P047M. Then define dunning procedure, FBMP. Click on new procedure. Dunning procedure is equal to SSKV. Dunning procedure is equal to SSKV. Name is equal to 4-level dunning every week. Means it is only a description of the dunning procedure, nothing else. So I want to send 4 reminders, each reminder every week. Dunning interval in days 7. Dunning interval in days 7. Number of dunning levels 4. Number of dunning levels 4. Within brackets, maximum number of dunning levels. Maximum number of dunning levels is 9. Maximum number of dunning levels is 9. Then line item grace periods is equal to 2 days. Line item grace periods is equal to 2 days. After that, you add one line. Interest indicator is equal to 0. 0.1. Within brackets, standard item interest calculation. Standard item interest calculation. Continue. Write down again. The interest indicator is necessary. The interest indicator is necessary to calculate interest on the overdue items, if necessary. Then select standard transaction dunning. So what are the standard transactions related to customers? Sales invoices. Then reference dunning procedure is equal to SSKV. Reference dunning procedure for text means content of the letter. So from which procedure the system has to print the content in the letters from our procedure only, right? Then click on dunning texts. After clicking on dunning texts, write down again, ignore the warning message. Ignore the warning message. Company code is equal to SSKV. Sorry. Company code is equal to SSKV. Select customer. Means this dunning procedure can be used for the customers of company code SSKV. Click on enter. Click on enter. Click on new company code. Company code is equal to SSKV. Click on enter. Select separate notice for dunning level. Means for each dunning level, we want to send a separate notice for this company code. Click on back arrow. Click on save. Click on save. Then click on dunning text. This is the dunning text button. Click on dunning text. Company code is equal to SSKV. Select customer. Click on enter. Now, here we define the dunning forms. First, let us do the step again. I will explain. Dunning level 1, form is equal to F150 underscore done underscore 01. Dunning level 2, form is equal to F150 underscore done underscore 01. Then dunning level 3, form is equal to F150 underscore done underscore 02. Then dunning level 4, F150 underscore done underscore 02. So these dunning forms were already defined in the system, right? So if you don't find the content of these dunning forms not compatible to you, means if the content of these dunning forms is not compatible for your needs, we can define our own dunning forms with the help of the above consultants. So the above consultants will copy these dunning forms and they create the new forms. There are some other standard dunning forms are there. Please, you can write down them. Put heading here, put one table like here. Dunning form, description. 2 columns. Dunning form, description. Under the dunning form, write down F150 underscore done, DUNN, underscore done, underscore 01. Under the description, dunning form without interest. Just a minute. Dunning form without interest. Next again. Under the dunning form, F150 underscore done underscore 02. Under the description, dunning form with interest. Next, F1 dunning form, F150 underscore done underscore 03. Legal dunning form. That means legal notice. Next, F150 underscore done underscore 04. Single level dunning notice. Single level dunning notice. So these are the some of the system defined standard forms, right? So if the content of these forms are not compatible to your needs, then the above consultants can create the new form by copying from one of these forms. Now, click on dunning levels. See, dunning level 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 levels, right? Then days in areas. By the time you send the first reminder, number of days in areas is 2 days. And by the time you send the second reminder, number of days in arrears is 9 days because 2 days line item grace periods plus 7 days, right? So 9 days. And by the time you send the third reminder, number of days in arrears is 16. Now, suppose you want the system to calculate interest from third and fourth levels, you can select third and fourth. Clear? Then click on charges. To impose the charges, click on charges. Currency is equal to INR. Click on enter. It is not there in the material. Write down. Dunning level is equal to 1. Dunning charge 100. Dunning, it is not there, please add it. Dunning level is equal to 1. Dunning charge 100 rupees. Dunning level 2. Dunning charge 150 rupees. So like that, for each Dunning level, we have to define the charges separately. Then click on minimum amounts. Currency is equal to INR. Click on enter. Write down please. Dunning level 1. Minimum amount 2000. Minimum amount 2000. Dunning level 2. Minimum amount 2000. Write down on, click on back arrow, click on save. Now, write one point there. Some space is here, no, please write down. We have to define the Dunning charges. We have to define the Dunning charges and the minimum amount. And minimum amount. For each Dunning level separately. For each Dunning level separately. Okay. Then step number 3. Assignment of Dunning procedure in the customer master. XD02. XD02 means change customer master. Customer is equal 2276. Company code SSKV. Click on enter. Click on company code data. Click on correspondence tab. Dunning procedure SSKV. Click on save. Now, let us post one invoice. Sales invoice posting F-22. Document date is 27/10/2022. Type is DR. Company code SSKV. Posting date 27/10/2022. Period 7. Currency INR. Posting key 01. Account is 2276. Click on enter. The amount is 75,000. Business area SSKV. Payment terms 0001. Baseline date 27/10/2022. Text being goods sold. Posting key 50. The account is 3 lakhs. Click on enter. Amount is as this. Business area SSKV tax. See here, for this invoice, right? The payment terms is 0001, means payment immediately. So let us assume that the customer did not pay. Now we want to send the reminder. Now you have to execute the Dunning program. Transaction code F150. Execution of this Dunning program nearly takes 45 minutes more, right? That's why we cannot stop in between this process, right? This we will see in tomorrow's class. Any questions?
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, F-23, for what we will use, sir?
F-23.
Yes, sir.
This is the bills of exchange, right? So
Sir.
functionality, bills of exchange. This is called bills receivable in the case of account receivables, right? Do you
Yes,
have
sir.
an idea regarding bills of exchange?
No, sir. So I am asking
It's
for what we will use this.
no, don't worry. It's a very big process, right? So I
Sir,
have made a separate video, right, on the
sir.
bills of exchange. I will send you at the end of the sessions.
Sir, I
Okay.
have a one
Yes.
question.
EDS on contractors, right? Foreign currency, loan devaluations, bank charges in the case of accounts payable, account receivables, bank reconciliation statement, then bills of exchange. There are all these topics are prepared videos separately, right? So
Yes,
I'll give the access to these videos at the end of the training. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
It's part of our training only. It's not
Okay,
that
sir.
you're asking and I'm giving you. It's part
Okay,
of.
sir. Sir, yesterday VSK is not defined. It is coming like that,
Yeah,
sir.
actually, I did. Now only I got it, right? I did not check it.
Okay, okay, sir.
Let me check and come back to you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Observe.
yes, sir. The Dunning concept told us that when we vendor have a debit balance, yeah.
Hmm.
So a little bit, can you repeat it here because I missed it that point at that time, please?
See, normally vendor account shows credit balance.
Yes,
What does it mean? We have to pay,
pay, yeah.
right? So when you have to pay, we don't send any reminders, right? When
Right.
you have to receive only, I will send the reminder. Suppose, for example, I give you 2 installments, right? You paid first
Okay.
installment,
Ah.
and I told you to pay the remaining amount after 1 month.
Okay.
Do you remind me, sir, I have to pay 10,000 balance to you? Do you remind me? I'm talking as a business policy. Do you remind me? No.
No.
I will remind you, right?
Yes.
After you have to pay second installment, right? Like that.
Yes. Yes.
Like that, normally vendor account shows credit balance. But if the vendor account shows debit balance, that means we have to receive from the vendor. In that case only, we send a reminder to the vendor. So when do we receive the payment from the vendor? Say for example, as on today, the balance in the vendor account is 0. But today we have written some goods to vendor. When you return the goods to vendor, what is the entry you post? Vendor account data to goods return account, right?
Yes.
So vendor account shows debit balance.
Hmm.
Now, as per the return policy, vendor has to replace the goods in 15 days. But 20 days are over. Vendor is not yet replacing the goods. Then we have to send the reminder, no?
Yes.
That's the reason. That's what I explained.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sir, I have tried the trick of what you have said for the that means T code, sir, displaying on the screen. But my version is
What can
different.
I do,
So,
Amma? You are using some other, just you are sending the pic. What is
yeah,
the
yes.
problem? If you don't see the transaction code, leave it.
Sir, no,
I have to
sir.
log into system. I have to log on to your system. Then
Okay,
only I
sir.
can say. If you send the pic, what I cannot do anything, right? I'm not, sometimes
Sir.
pic will not work.
Sir, shall I?
Little problem, no. If
Sir,
you don't
shall I
see the
give?
transaction-
Shall I give any disk now, sir?
No, it's not possible now.
Sir,
You call me tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
okay, sir.
There is no any issue. If you don't see the transaction code, right? What is the problem you are facing there? Tell me. Technically, I'm saying.
Technically, what is it is happening, sir? It doesn't showing the down payment advance which advance which
Here,
is
are you able to see this type of icon on your?
no sir. That's what I am saying, sir. Roshan Sethi also saw this, sir, and this version is different. He also tried to implement that, but it is not working, sir. I have tried all the
What version you are using of
Sir?
GUI? What is the GUI version you are using?
Just a moment, sir.
At the time of posting vendor down payment, what is the problem you are facing there?
సార్ నో సార్ డౌన్ పేమెంట్ ఇప్పుడు మీరు వేసేటప్పుడు డౌన్ పేమెంట్ ఇంత ఉంది అని కనిపిస్తుంది కదా సార్, నాకు అలా కనిపించదు.
So you are
Ala-
not getting the message on the status bar.
మెసేజ్ కనపడట్లేదు, ప్లస్ మీరు కింద స్క్రోల్ లో మీకు టీ కోడ్ మీరు టైప్ చేయగానే మీకు స్క్రీన్ ఒక లాస్ట్ లో కనపడుతుంది. నాకు అట్లా ఏం కనిపించట్లేదు.
Oh, పని చేయండి. You do one thing, increase the screen resolution. That may be the problem. It's not the SAP GUI problem. You may have to increase the screen resolution.
స్క్రీన్ రెజల్యూషన్స్ అంతా కూడా మొత్తం ల్యాప్టాప్ అంతా వస్తుంది సార్.
Sir, tomorrow call me at 10 o'clock.
ఓకే సార్, ఐ విల్ షూర్ సార్.